This is Tracy Panase with Just Between Friends, and I'd like to thank you for signing up to help with our clothing and shoe inspection at the upcoming sale. As some of you may know, we changed our procedures last spring and how we inspect both clothing and shoes. And I'm going to walk you through what's different and then specifically what you are looking for in this process. When the consigners come to drop off their items, they're going to be placing it on a clothing rack such as this, already sorted by size and by gender. They will be placing it on a rack that is not taped off. And so you're just going to have to pretend for the purpose of this example that this is all the same size and gender. And now we're just going to be looking for a couple of things. We're going to make sure that the clothing is for the correct season and that it is of good quality and good condition. So those are really the three things you're looking for: seasonality, quality, and condition. So the first thing for seasonality, you're going to be looking for items that your child could wear between September and April. So things for cooler months. So something like this little snowsuit is perfect for the winter months. So this is something that would be good for our seasonal conditions. Heavier weights like sweater material, denim, cotton is okay as long as they're long pants, no shorts or capris that are a lighter weight of fabric like linen or things like that would be more appropriate for the spring sale. No short sleeves unless it's under 24 months and can be worn as a layering piece. So things like onesies are okay, but they should be long sleeve. And then the fabrics are going to be things like fleece, sweatshirt material, corduroy, or denim. Clothing inspection can be subjective, so there's going to be some gray area, and I'll give you some examples of this. This particular pair of pants, it's yellow, so you might think, well, this is more appropriate for spring. But upon further inspection, I can see that these are lined with a heavier weight of material, so this would be okay for the fall sale. Things that can be worn for the holidays. So this particular dress, it is sleeveless. However, the material, it's a taffeta material. It's clearly something that could be worn around the Christmas holidays. This would be acceptable. The same thing with skirts. So darker colored skirts or different fabrics. This is a little dress. It's corduroy. It's sleeveless overall, but this is something that you would wear generally in the winter months. We do have a couple of exceptions in terms of short sleeves. So polo styled shirts that are solid in color are okay for the fall sale. So this particular item would be okay. This one would not because it's lighter in color and it has a design on it. So I'm going to put this on my rack as not accepted. In addition to seasonality, you're going to be looking for the quality and condition of each item. So you need to actually pick up each item and look at it front and back. You look around the neck, look at the knees. These pajamas are okay for the season, but they're really pilled. And so we would consider this to be excessively worn and it would be rejected. Same thing with these pants. The knees are discolored. You can see this is a real bright navy and then it gets really whitish in here. So this is something that we would be unable to accept. In particular, for infant items, you want to pay very close attention to around the neck because with formula, it can stain very easily. Our lighting in our venues is much better than most consigners at home. So this will show up things that may not have been visible when the consignor was tagging this. This would be unaccepted. The other thing you want to pay close attention to is that if the item has a zipper, it zippers, and if there are buttons, they're all there, and looking for tears. So this jacket looks really great until you look at the sleeve and there's a little tear on the sleeve, and so this is something we would also be unable to accept. Things like this little dress, unlike the red dress, which could be worn at the holidays, this is more appropriate for the spring, and so this would be rejected based on seasonality. This particular outfit, it is seasonally appropriate. It's a lighter weight of fabric, however it's long sleeved, but when you look at it, there's some stains here and there's also stains on the back. So again, you want to look at the front and the back, really hold it up and examine it closely. Finally, you're looking at the size. So this particular item is a junior's item. We accept sizes 0 to 5 for junior girls and those must be brand names. So things like Abercrombie, Aeropostale, American Eagle are appropriate. If this was a woman's brand like Ann Taylor or Chico or something like that, that would not be accepted. As you reject things, you need to mark it with a sticker so the consignor knows why their item was unable to be sold. So you will have stickers and you can mark on the item where you see a stain or where things were not of good quality. As you mark them, you're going to put them onto your rolling rack, and then you will continue to inspect the other items. As you reject, you'll pull it off the rack, sticker it, and place it onto your rack. An additional thing to look for when you're inspecting hoodies is no drawstrings. Any hoodie that is under the size of 12 cannot have a drawstring around the neck because it's considered a choking hazard. So if this did have a string, I could either pull the string out or it would have to be rejected. This item, no string, so this is great. Same thing with this, there's no string, and so this would be perfectly fine. In addition to the stickers for marking the rejected items, all inspectors will have a roll of landscape tape. And so when you're done with your section, you are going to mark it off so that no one else inspects this area. We don't need to be doing double work. So I'm going to just pull off a piece of tape, wrap it around all the items. If you see something that has already been taped off, that means you can go to the next available section that is not taped off and start inspecting there. The final step with the clothing inspection is to sort the rejected items. So you're going to look at the consignor tag. This one is marked donate, so I'm going to throw it into a box that says donate. This one is not marked donate, it's consignor E. I'll throw it in the box that is A through M. This one is a T. I'm going to throw it in the box that is marked N through Z. For the shoe inspection, it's going to be done much like the clothing. Our consignors are going to be placing their shoes in boxes by size and by gender. And so when you are ready to inspect, you're just going to go to one of those boxes that has not already been looked at, and you're going to review each shoe for seasonality as well as quality. So let's first talk about seasonality. You are looking for things that children would typically wear between the months of September and April. So think colder, cooler weather. So things like snow boots are perfect. Suede materials or fleece lined is also good. And then darker colors such as sneakers and suede is another good thing that we are looking for the fall sale. Things that are not acceptable would be lighter colors of shoes. So these are something that is a little bit more appropriate for summer. These white sneakers, again, are something more appropriate for summer. You're also going to reject things like flip-flops, water sandals, or things that are, again, lighter in color or more appropriate for spring. Other shoes that can be worn year-round would include cleats and dance shoes, as well as rain boots. We accept these types of shoes at both the fall sale as well as the spring sale. The third thing that you're going to be looking at for just in general would be size. So the size really does matter when it comes to shoes. These are size 7.5, which is okay. That's the highest end of our shoe range. We accept up to size 5.5 for big kids, 7.5 for adults. But they have to be age appropriate. So something like this would be okay because it doesn't have a high heel. It's not something that looks overly dad or momish. But then the next thing we're going to look at it for is for quality. For the condition of the shoes, you want to pay particular attention to the toes, the soles, and the liners. So looking at these pair of boots, this is of the right season for the fall sale. However, when I turn them over and I see all this dirt in the shoe, this is something we would be unable to accept. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put a sticker on it indicating why we were unable to accept it. Same thing with the rain boots. As I mentioned, we accept rain boots at both the fall and the spring sale. However, you can see the liner, this is coming apart. There's also a lot of excessive scuff marks on the toe, so this is something we would be unable to accept. Sneakers are something that get worn really hard by kiddos, but the toes look pretty good. This fabric is all in good shape, so these would be acceptable. If they are accepted, I'm going to throw them into a bin, sorted by size and by gender, so I don't have to look at them again. Shoes where we have a little bit more grace and flexibility include dance and sports shoes. So any of you guys who are dance moms, you know that the minute your daughter wears these to tap, they're going to get a couple scuff marks on them, and that's okay. These shoes are in perfect condition, and so these would be perfectly acceptable. Same thing with the cleats. I'm looking to make sure they aren't really dirty, but if they do have a couple scuff marks on them, chances are they're going to be okay. These are in great shape. Ballet shoes, and then it's a little bit harder to inspect the shoes when they're in the bags, so you have to really take a look at everything. You might have to move the tag around. In some cases, you're going to have to open this bag to get a good look at the shoe, in which case you're going to have to close it back up or secure them together with zip ties, but these look great. These particular shoes, the little rubber around the toe is starting to come off. They're really worn here. The suede is discolored, so these I would also reject as being too worn. As you accept shoes, you're going to throw them in another box sorted by size and by gender. These are a boy size 10. I will throw them in that box. And then one of the members of your team will be a runner. That runner is going to be putting away all the size 10 boys' shoes onto the appropriate shelving unit. The very last step in the shoe inspection process is to sort out your rejected items. So you're going to look at the tag for the consignor letter and put it in the appropriate box. It's either A through M or N through Z or donate. So this is consignor S, so I'm going to throw this in the N through Z box. These two shoes are marked donate. You can see they do have the appropriate sticker on them to indicate why they're being donated, and we throw those in the box as well. If you have questions about items being acceptable or not, please do ask your team leader. These ladies have been there, done that, and they are happy to help you.